We all know how seriously global warming is affecting our lives. Today, we are very honored to have distinguished guest speakers from Beijing, Taiwan, Hong Kong to share their views on the impact and solution for global warming. Please accept our sincere gratitude for your attendance and support.
It is also a privilege that our special guest of honor, Supreme Master Ching Hai, a world-renowned humanitarian, artist, and spiritual master, will join us in the Q&A section to discuss the most constructive means of addressing the impending problems of climate change in order to ensure that we do not pass the point of no return.
Before starting the speeches by our distinguished guests, let's share an interview with Professor Lin-Pei Lian regarding global warming and climate change. Professor Lin is chairman of the Department of Atmosphere Sciences Graduate Institute of Atmosphere Physics, National Central University, Formosa. Professor Lin-Pei Lian has some advice for us on global warming.
各位观众大家好，今天我来谈一下温室效应跟全球暖化。那全球暖化的问题呢，一直都是全世界争论的焦点，也是现在人类面临最大的问题。虽然我们没办法避免暖化的这一个现象，但是我们可以减缓它。如果我们的生活能够简朴一点，我们能够避免排放太多的温室气体的话，那有可能我们可以维持在比较好的环境之下。反之，如果我们还是继续这些浪费这些石化原料，然后呢排放这么多的温室气体的话，那么在未来100年之内，我们将面临非常可怕的环境。那从温室气体的效应来看呢，为什么会造成暖化？当然是主要是2个过程，一个是温室气体包括我们刚刚提到的甲烷包括二氧化碳包括氧化亚氮等等这些温室气体，因为工业革命之后，人类的这个不断的开发然后呢排放这么多的温室气体，那温室气体呢就会造成这个长波辐射呢被阻挡下来就是有部分的能量被阻挡下来，所以呢就会有造成暖化。那我想这个温室效应、全球暖化所造成的影响非常的大。对台湾来讲，我们已经很多研究人员都发现比如说这日夜温差的改变当然是增温的现象是特别的明显。那甚至呢有人也做了一些研究，发现跟这个极端降水的这个几率也有很密切的关联特别像这个比较强烈、比较剧烈的这些台风发生的频率，有人认为跟全球暖化有密切的关联。那我觉得这个全世界面临这样的问题，应该全世界的人类呢，应该这个手牵手、心连心大家一起来想办法来救地球大家应该尽量过简朴的生活，然后呢，让我们这个比较少的欲望。那这样的话，我们生活简朴，我们欲望比较少，那我们对于这个资源的需求就比较少一点。那这样我们可能可以共同来拯救地球。那今天这个主办单位办这样的一个活动，我想是很有意义的确实需要全人类大家共同来参与，大家共同来合作来拯救地球，来避免这个让这个温室效应继续的恶化。对香港这一次所举办的关心地球暖化为心连心救地球的这个大活动，祝这个活动呢圆满成功，也祝福大家健康平安喜悦。面对全球暖化的现象呢全世界的人类都应该要尽一份心力。青海无上师呢能够率领这么多的信众针对地球暖化的问题呢尽一份心力，然后大家能够心连心救地球，我们特别感谢他，谢谢。
Thank you, Professor Lin, for your advice on leading a more simple life.
Now, we have our distinguished speakers who will describe the kinds of problems that our planet is facing, as well as the possible solution. We have our first distinguished guest, Professor Gang Xu, who will share his view on climate change and fundamental combat strategy.
Professor Gang Xu is currently Professor and Dean of School of Environment and Energy of Peking University, Shenzhen Graduate School. Professor Gan is a renowned expert in environmental ecology, simulation model, especially risk assessment methodology of global environmental changes and water resource management. He is an elected fellow of American Society of Economy and American Association for the Advancement of Science. Let's give a warm applause to welcome Professor Gunn.
Good afternoon. Thanks to the organizers' invitation that I have this opportunity to be here to meet so many distinguished guests and also individuals who had a common commitment, that is to improve this world so we can have a better place to live, not only for ourselves, for the generations to follow. So let me start. I want to share with you a little bit our understanding about the problem and our approach. How do we solve this problem? Climate change and fundamental combat strategy. As you can see, this is quite well known. Slides from IPCC, who's become world famous because they received the Nobel Prize in 2007. And here shows the circle and how the problems are generated and where the problem fundamentally lies. And it's finally really proved the fact that all this happens because artificial effects, because human anthropogenic contribution to cause the global climate change. There's many diagrams to show the changes, and here are some from the IPCC's report indicating that all the fundamental gases are increasing, and those gas increase cause climate change. So I'm not going to go into detail, but the only thing I want to point out is there are three pictures here. On the left is the simulation if we only consider what natural changes could be and compared to the real numbers. And the second one shows adding the anthropogenic effects, and the last picture shows both effects from natural and also from human contribution. And then the two graphs are almost coincident, one over the other. So it shows the close relationship between the human contribution and the natural changes. Now, when we talk about change, this picture shows that it's not a simple change of temperature. The implication is that when temperature is increasing, extreme conditions can also be increasing. This can happen in all three possible scenarios. If just change absolute temperature, for example, how the tail probability is being affected, and if you change the variation, then how the tail probabilities change. And lastly, when you have both average and variation change, the impact on extreme events can be enormous. Well, I'll give you an example. This is two pictures, not related at all. On your left is a picture from Himalaya, and on your right is a picture taken at Washington, D.C. So these two pictures taken on the same day, on the January 2007. And as you know, in Washington, D.C., and at the top of the Himalaya, winter is cold. But this picture shows the contrary phenomenon, that is hot and warm on the same day and almost at the same temperature, 21 Celsius degree. It's enormous. It's unheard of. It's a record broken. I mean, it's coincidence on two unrelated, far apart locations, unlikely temperature at the same time. So we have a lot of problems, all kinds of disasters. In Sichuan province, for example, Sichuan is known historically for a lot rainfall, and it's Yumi Zhixiang. It's well known for agriculture because of a lot of water. But in recent years, even those places where used to have a lot of water become prone for drought. And here's a picture shows again a very serious drought happened in Sichuan in the last few years. I came from California. I've been in California for a little more than 30-some years. I teach at University of California at Davis. I'm still a professor at Davis. And at California, we already analyze and conclude that on the 21st century, the most serious problem is global climate change. And the global climate change effect on California is in many different ways, but the most critical is on water resource. And here this picture shows, actually California is very diverse in terms of ecological zones and all kinds of geographic topology. However, it's all affected by one thing, that is water. California's run out of water, and it had a severe impact on all ecological phenomena and human well-being. And this picture shows the economic impact. This actual number shows what happens over the last 30-some years, you can see the extreme climatic conditions impact on economic situation. It's not something that affect here and there. It's something happening on the economy. This probably is more concern to large population. We all worry about it. The bottom line is how they're affecting our economy. The extreme climate conditions have a tremendous toll on the economy. Everybody's paying a lot of money trying to remedy the problems. Disasters after disaster. The change is not small changes. The change has severe consequences. We have never seen them before. The earthquake, a year ago in Sichuan, maybe it's not directly related to the weather change. However, it is all indication of unstable world. And this is just one example. Now, we can do some studies. Personally, I have done some research on global climate change and how they impact various things that we're concerned with. One, for example, is the water resource. Here's the rise in Taiwan, and this picture shows one condition is water demand and the normal conditions. Another, the red dots and lines represent the water demand after global climate change. And it shows under the global climate change scenario, water demand is increasing. I mean, for rice, if you are above 6 millimeters evapotranspiration day, after the global climate change, it will increase from 17% to 40%, 3 times more. And here is another example in Taichung Pear. The water demand probably will increase from 8% to 49%. And here's another example on grape, an increase from 12% to 47%. Now, those are the problems. Now, how this problem happened, why it happened? In my opinion, they largely have something to do with the energy consumption. What kind of energy we're using and how those energies being used had a lot to do with what we see today, the environmental change.
Tomorrow on Words of Wisdom.
就这个病原素食中间有一个生态环境，生态环境的变动会影响到素食，也会影响到病原。对个人来讲，是如何增进你自己的免疫力，增加你的 immunity， 你的抵抗力。对整个公共卫生来讲，是我们要怎样改变环境，改变这生态环境，把病原传到人的里面的传染途径怎样切断。然后怎样消灭传染源，这是我们公共卫生所要注重的。
All information concerning the scientific evidence of climate change and its solution is in Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, From Crisis to Peace, free for download at crisistopeace.org.
You vegan? Kudos, man.
Vibrant viewers, thank you for your company today for Words of Wisdom. Please join us again tomorrow for Global Unity Together in Saving Lives, Part 3 of a multi-part series.